I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Welcome to TCM and more of our month-long salute to Roger Corman, who stands as one of the most important and most influential filmmakers of the 20th century. But his movies didn't get nominated for Academy Awards. Roger Corman was the king of drive-in exploitation films, and to be clear, Roger Corman would not have objected to that title. He embraced it. As Martin Scorsese has said, Roger Corman knew his audience better than any American filmmaker. The economic boom that followed World War II resulted in teens with access to cars and the cash to entertain themselves at the thousands of drive-in theaters across the country. Roger Corman thought that audience was being underserved by Hollywood, and he was right. So Corman started making movies for them. Sci-fi, adventures, monster thrillers, crime films, all of them featuring plenty of sex and violence. Generally, the cheaper he could make them, the higher his profit margin would be. This was the Roger Corman formula, and it worked for him for decades. That's not to say Roger didn't aspire to make better quality pictures. For instance, in the 1960s, he often didn't have the money to make films in color or to produce high-end special effects, but he learned that the Soviets were doing it and doing it cheaply. So Corman went to Moscow to purchase the American distribution rights to a handful of sci-fi films from the Soviet Union. He hoped he'd be able to just dub the films into English and then release them as is, but the plots, it turned out, were riddled with anti-American propaganda. So Roger Corman had to improvise. He decided to lift just the special effects sequences from the films and create original stories built around those effects. Up next, an example of that ingenuity. Released in 1966 by American International Pictures, this is Queen of Blood. The year is 1990, 24 years after the film's release, and a group of astronauts have received a distress signal from Mars. A rescue mission finds one survivor, a beautiful alien female. You can tell she's an alien, by the way, because she has green skin and an unusual appetite. Cast includes John Saxon, Basil Rathbone, and Dennis Hopper, with Florence Marley as the alien queen. From 1966, with original material written and directed by Curtis Harrington, produced by Roger Corman, Queen of Blood. Writer-director Curtis Harrington made Queen of Blood for producer Roger Corman. Corman gave Harrington all the special effects footage Corman had acquired from his purchase of Soviet sci-fi films. Harrington then came up with an original plot and shot new material to wrap around that footage. Corman had enough money for Harrington to shoot for 6 days at a tiny studio in downtown Los Angeles. 2 of those days were spent working with Basil Rathbone, who Harrington recalled was being paid just $6,000 for 2 days of work. If being paid so little bothered Rathbone, Harrington said he never showed it. Rathbone was a consummate professional and enjoyed talking with Harrington between setups about his memories of working in Hollywood. Coming up, our night at Roger Corman Productions continues with a gothic horror story directed by an up-and-coming filmmaker named Francis Ford Coppola. Dementia 13 is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Dementia 13, then The Terror, and later Dean Martin, King of Cool. Chill out with TCM tonight.